It's pole position for Lando Norris for the Australian Grand Prix, with Piastri in second, which means a front row entirely of McLaren. Max Verstappen was third, and Ferrari went to bed scratching their heads. Leclerc and Hamilton behind a Racing Bulls and a Williams car. That's right, but there was more. Gabriel Bortoleto, mind you, made it to Q2. Ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, his teammate. Much more experienced and also better ranked than three other rookies. Antonelli from Mercedes, Liam Lawson from Red Bulls, and Oliver Burman with the Haas car. Saturday, March 15th, 2025, we already have a grid set. In the evening, there's the Australian Grand Prix. Sit down so we can talk about this qualifying. First of all, explaining this new format. The idea in 2025 is to publish the Saturday video at most an hour later, after the end of the qualifying. But of course, if I started recording this video at 3:10 in the morning, I'd end up sleeping in the garage or on the couch because the spouse and the cat wouldn't like it. So, the rule already comes with an exception. 1 hour after the qualifying, obviously, when the qualifying happens at a more reasonable time. Especially because if I publish the video at 4 in the morning, no one would watch it, right? A new format for the Saturday videos. During the qualifying, because if I publish it in the late afternoon, the topic has already cooled down. It's the famous sorry for the inconvenience, we are always working to improve. So, it was a pole position for Lando Norris ahead of Oscar Piastri by 0.084 in a front row consisting only of McLaren, confirming the predictions that the English team with New Zealand blood and orange colors was indeed the fastest. Max Verstappen was in the lead for a long time during Q3 and everyone thought, so the Red Bulls really hid their game until Oscar Piastri roused the crowd at Albert Park. But then Lando Norris came and put a damper on his celebration or his beer. Foster's, which is from Australia, right? This video is not sponsored, but it could be. 1.15.296 for Norris. Verstappen then took the third position. George Russell, with a Mercedes that also seemed somewhat out of place the entire weekend, was fourth. Yuki Tsunoda, with a surprising racing booms, was fifth. And Alex Alonso, saving his neck now that he has a tough teammate like Carlos Sainz, in sixth. The Ferrari duo came right behind them, Leclerc in seventh, Lewis Hamilton eighth. Hamilton, in fact, commented on his progress and how he has been closing the gap to Leclerc, adapting to some of the car's demands and imitating the Monegasque style. Yesterday, the gap was around 0.450, almost half a second. Today, it dropped to 0.200, 0.250. There was a moment in Q2 when he lapped within the same tenth. And the story of Hamilton, an experienced driver, and Bortoleto, a rookie, is very similar in this aspect. Both have teammates within the same team who qualify very well. So the bar's high and it's really good for them to work. After them, Piastri Gasly with the Alpine car, which seemed better in ninth, and Carlos Sainz with the other Williams closing the top 10. Q1 started with sunshine, stable weather, and the highest temperature of the weekend. Almost 40 degrees, with Haas having to double the period and fix Burman's car, because if you didn't see TR3, believe it, he managed to go off the track again right on his first lap and practically didn't run or not. He ran because he didn't start any timed lap. It was 4 p.m. local time, 2 in the morning, here in Brazil, and the two Haas cars were indeed the first to go out. And soon, Burman called on the radio and said, "I'm having a problem here shifting gears." The first fast time was set by Lando Norris, 1:16.03, setting the benchmark from which we would then understand how everyone was doing. Behind them, Verstappen, Piastri, Alonso in fifth position, while Lawson spun out, almost hitting the barriers hard, but managed to get out on his own. In a weekend that, for him and Burman, has been that hellish rookie weekend. Detail of the 5 rookies, these 2 are the most experienced because Lawson has 11 Grand Prix races and Burman already has 2. Antonelli also had difficulty going through the gravel when he was in 14th position. Lawson then, trying to escape the relegation zone and move to Q2, was on a hanging lap. Made a mistake, aborted, and was left out. Gasly put the Alpine car in the top 10, Hamilton moved up with the Ferrari car to 6th, and Bortoleto, who was in the relegation zone, was in 16th position, and after the clock hit 0, he passed moved up to 15th. And then, end of Q1. Eliminated Antonelli, 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙮𝙧𝙞𝙤𝙡, Lawson, Ocon, and Burman. Bortoleto started the year on the right foot, without making mistakes, qualifying ahead of a guy who is fast. 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙮 has been in Formula 1 since 2010. He has raced alongside very fast and also experienced people. 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙮, for instance, last year managed an 18.6 against Magnussen in qualifying. And Magnussen is a fast guy. And the benchmark to understand if it was good or not, it's the foreign press criticizing Helmut Marko, who had said the day before that Bortoleto was a B-level driver. So yes, Brazilian fans can be happy. It was an excellent result. Is he the new destined one? Is he the reincarnation of Senna, etc.? No. It's Gabriel Bortoleto doing an excellent job in his first opportunity. A good driver makes a strong impression at the first opportunity they have. Remember, at the same Albert Park, the debut of Felipe Nasr with the same Sauber in 5th place. Am I saying he has to do that? No, races are races. Tomorrow there's a forecast for rain. But those who need to step up and deliver now at the first opportunity they have. Q2 started intensely. Verstappen went there and set the standard with Piastri and Norris chasing. Alonso went off track. 𝘾𝙤𝙢𝙢𝙗𝙗 had a lap deleted. And in the elimination zone were Stroll, 𝘾𝙤𝙢, and Bortoleto. At this point, Hamilton had his best moment of the weekend, staying within the same 10th as Leclerc. But both were behind Piastri because Ferrari, with a somewhat risky strategy, chose to use used soft tires. Bortoleto overdid it. As he himself said, the car almost got out of his control. He saved it and in the interview commented, "I thought it was over at that moment." It wasn't, but he lost the lap. However, by that point, mission already accomplished. He had advanced to Q2, was ahead of his teammate. The rest would be a bonus. In the end, Norris was the best, 1:15.415 in Q2, and those eliminated were 𝘾𝙤𝙢, Alonso, Stroll, Duham, and Gabriel Bortoleto. Note also the decent performance by 𝘾𝙤𝙢𝙢, who didn't make any mistakes in a weekend where the other rookies are struggling. Q3 arrived, the moment of truth, and Leclerc then appeared with the best lap, with everyone thinking, look at Ferrari, there. But Verstappen came and knocked Ferrari down. 1:71 for the 4-time champion in pursuit of the 5th. Shortly after, Russell put Mercedes in second, pushing Leclerc to third. Lando Norris then had his lap deleted for exceeding track limits and was left with the pressure of making a lap with only one attempt. In the final minutes, Piastri thrilled the crowd by surpassing Max Verstappen. It felt like a football stadium, but the joy didn't last long because Norris went there and on his chance, 1:15.096, 0.084 faster than the other McLaren. Jump, then, for Lando Norris, who starts the year on the right foot, and his track record of not converting pole positions into the lead on the first lap. But then he'll have to manage. Second then for Oscar Piastri. Third for Max Verstappen. Fourth for George Russell. Fourth for a surprising Yuki Tsunoda. Sixth for Alex Alonso announcing, "I'm alive." 10th for Leclerc. 8th for Lewis Hamilton. 9th for Gasly. 10th for Carlos Sainz. 11th for 𝘾𝙤𝙢. It's worth mentioning a weekend worthy of him. Up to here, 12th for Fernando Alonso. The first 11 cars separated by 1 second. 13th for Stroll. 14th for 𝘾𝙤𝙢𝙢𝙗𝙗. 15th for Gabriel Bortoleto. 16th for Antonelli. 17th for 𝘾𝙤𝙥𝙮𝙯. 18th for Lawson. 19th for Ocon. And 20th for Oliver Burman. What to expect for tomorrow? First thing, weather forecast. At this exact moment, 25% chance of rain for race time at Albert Park. Note, if you've been watching the videos here throughout the weekend, that this percentage has been dropping. So it might not rain tomorrow. In a dry race, the usual tends to prevail. And then the McLarens could perform well, and Ferrari is said to have race pace to move forward. Who might get screwed by this is Mercedes, which only has one set of hard tires for their drivers. But we have many unknowns on the table. How will the Racing Bulls perform? How will the Williams cars perform? What will Antonelli and Lawson do coming from the back with good cars? And Bortoleto starting from 15th? Will he start well? If he starts well, he has to get through the first corner, which is always tricky at Albert Park. And it always falls to someone to run their race, aim, and finish, preferably ahead of 𝘾𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙗𝙗, who is seasoned and experienced. And then hope for chaos, whether dry or wet. Who knows, maybe a point might end up in his hands. The race is at 1 in the morning and 12:40. We start our alternative broadcast here on Splash and Go in our project. Another channel offering another way for you to watch Formula One, without images, of course, but with commentary by Matheus Ornelas, myself providing comments, bringing information to you in a relaxed, laid-back atmosphere with our crew. I hope everyone joins us, bringing their likes, their super chats. We'll display your questions, your comments on the screen. Matheus and I here from the Houston studio in BH, moderating the playground. And then after the checkered flag, we wrap up. And at 6 p.m., I'll see you here for our live session. All right? So that's it. Comment here with an emoji if you like Bortoleto or if you didn't like Bortoleto, if you expected more. And if you want, put your podium here, first, second, and third. And who knows, maybe Bortoleto is on the podium. You can already put him in first, second, and third in your prediction, or put the position you think he will finish. All right? So that's it. Leave a like. It's free. It costs nothing, you know, and it helps the channel a lot. Do me this favor. Do us this favor. We are flying here and you are part of this. Every video has two ends. Me who speaks and you who watches. And that's the only way we make the largest and also the best Formula One audience in Brazil. All right? So that's it. Great. Saturday. Thanks. A big hug. See everyone at 12:40 on the other channel. A big hug.